I will say it's really wonderful to see everybody. Last night I couldn't see everybody, so it's really nice. Okay, so we will learn tonight, co-sponsored by the Rezepkovitz family in honor of their parents, co-sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Chazan, the Refuah Shalem for Shoshana Bas Panina and Simone Bas Rachel, co-sponsored by Binyamin Rivlin, Leila Nishmis Yitzhak Ben Avram Yehuda Alevi, co-sponsored by Shelley Zeitlin for my Refuah Shalema and Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadel, and for his children Eli Orit and Ora, and by Baruch Goldwasser for my Refuah, Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadel, Kos HaTov to the Shir, and Shalom Fogel, Leila Nishmas, Yaakov Zer ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzibya Miriam Bas God, and Yosef ben Tzim ben Yaakov, that the Neshama should have an Aliyah. I want to roll out the royal carpet of greeting to Aaron Swade. Aaron, it's really wonderful to see you. Wow. And we also want to wish Aaron ben Sarah that he should have a refuah shalema b'sech shecheli Yisrael. Aaron, the shir is not the same when you're not here. We just want to let you know. No pressure, chas v'shalom, but, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. Okay, so we welcome in Yaakov Warman and Saba and Yeshua Yemansky, Eddie Chazan, Reb Deer, and Aaron Swade, Irving Fishbaum, Baruch Ian, Dov Salkowitz, Jay Siegel, Shimon Klein, Ruvain Pollack, Yitzi Muller, Michal Aktas, Dr. Block, Yisrael Fisher, Stephen Holtzman, Yitzi Fuchs, Mark Frankel, Nachman Chapler, Abe Arbach, Rabbi Kranz, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, and Rabbi Zepkowitz, and Moshe Lehman. Here in the shul, we have Gedalia Engel, we have Chaim Kramer, Michal Avram Chavin, Shlomo Yehuda, and Ruvain Shanet, David Helfgott on Kol HaLashon. And we start off at the very top of Daf Chav Zayin with a Makis Sugya, Itmar, Eid Zaymein. So let's say that Jay, he's not as innocent as he looks. Jay was an aide against Stephen Holtzman, that Stephen did something. Aide said that Stephen did something in Bell Harbor on Rosh Chodesh. And Ruvain and Yitzi say, you couldn't have been in Bell Harbor on Rosh Chodesh. You were with us in a cruise to the Bahamas. So now Jay is an Eid Zaymin. The question is, when does he become disqualified? From the day he gave the testimony, or from when they pronounced him as an Eid Zaymin? In other words, is it retroactive to the time of the testimony? So Itmar, Eid Zaymin, Abai Amar Lemafreya Hu Nifsal, it's retroactive to the day that he gave the testimony. V'Rav Amar, no, Mikanu Labo Nifsal, he's only disqualified from the day that Yitz and Ruvain Pollack said that he was an Eid Zaymin. And now the Gemara explains, Abaya seems to be very logical. Abaya Amar Lemafreya Hu Nifsal, why? Me'idna da Asid, from when he testified falsely, I'm sorry, but from when he testified falsely, Jay, Rasha, he's a Rasha, Vatayra Amal, Toshes Yotchim Rasha, do not have your hand with a wicked person. Al Toshes Rasha, do not place a wicked person as a witness. Rav Amar, no, Rav says, Mikanu Labohu Nifsal. Jay is only disqualified from the time that Ruvain and Yitz give testimony. Why? Remember, Jay was with another witness. I didn't want to tell you, but okay, Jay was together with Baruch Ian, right? And they both said that Stephen Holtzman did something on Rosh Chodesh in Bell Harbor, and Yitz and Ruvain said that Jay and Baruch were on the cruise to the Bahamas. So the question is, says Rava, why do we listen to Reuven and Yitzi? We should listen to Jay and Baruch. Says the Gemara, Eid Zaimim is a chidushu. My chaz is the Smeicha Hani. Why do we rely on Reuven and Yitzi? Smeicha Hani, we should rely on Jay and Baruch. So since it's a chiddush, ein lach boy ela mishas chidushay ve'elach. We only disqualify them from the time of the chiddush and onward. Ikramrei. There's another version. Rava nami kabaya svirale. Rava also holds like kabaya that it's retroactive. Umatam ka'amar. What's the reason why mikanul haba? My tam ka'amar mikanul haba. Why does Rava say it's only from now onward? Because mishum seder l'lechuches. Because he doesn't want buyers to lose out. I mean, is it Dr. Block's fault that he had Jay and Baruch testimony on his deed of sale? I mean, Rava says it's not fair. So because of Seder the Lekugas, we don't go retroactive. Says the Gemara, my Beinai, what's the difference between the two reasons of Rava? Ike Beinayu da'asidu beitrei bechad. The difference is in the event that two witnesses said that Jay was on the boat to the Bahamas. Oh, if two witnesses say that Jay was on the boat to Bahamas, and two other witnesses say that Baruch was on the boat to the Bahamas, then it's not a chiddush. And therefore, if the reason is also chiddush, then in that case, Rava would agree that you go retroactive. But if the reason is I'll say the lekuchas, then he would hold that way even if there's two witnesses for each one. Inami, the difference is the paslaninu begazlanusa, where they disqualified Jay that he was a thief. So if they disqualified him that he was a thief, so in such a case, there it's not a chiddush. Here it's not a chiddush, right? So it would be if the reason would be that it's a chiddush, then even Rava would hold you would go retroactively. But if the reason is because of lekuchas, that we're worried about Dr. Black, so then we wouldn't go back retroactively. V'amar Rav Yirmiyah medifti over Rav Papa uvda kavasei de Rava. Rava did a psak. Rav Yirmiyah medifti said that Rav Papa did a psak like Rava. But even though normally throughout Shas that would be the golden standard, we paskin like Rava, but in 6 cases in Shas we paskin like Abaya. This is one of the 6 places in Shas, so you're lucky you didn't miss out from tonight. You would have lost one of the 6 places in Shas, says the Gemara. 6 places, Yal Kigam.
I'm saying 2 places tonight.
Yes, we have 2 places, yes. The Hilchas of Kavasi Dabaya be Yal Kigam. The law is like Abaya and Yal Kigam. The ayin of Yal Kigam is Eidim Zaymamim, and therefore we would go back retroactively and disqualify Jay and Baruch. Now, Mumar Eichel Nevelis L'Teyavim. If a person is a mummer, that means he regularly eats nevelis because of his appetite. That means that, of course, he would buy kosher franks if they're the same price as the other franks. But in the event that the kosher franks are more expensive, and he can't afford that, So then he'll eat the non-kosher franks because, he can't be without franks. Where's Marshall? He can't be without franks. So just like he will sin to save money because of his appetite, so we don't trust his testimony, because if he was offered money, he will testify falsely. Also, he doesn't have a sense of shame. So divrei hakol pasel lahachis. But if he does it to anger God, in other words, he's angry with Hashem. He's angry with Hashem. He's a Holocaust survivor, or other things happen to him, and he's angry with Hashem. So Abaye am apostle. Abaye says he's a Rasha, and al toshis Rasha liyos eid. Rava am kosher. Rava says he's kosher because it's only if it's eid chamas. It's only if he's suspected because of a monetary reason. The angry with God, that doesn't mean he's going to mess up other people. So Rava says he's kosher. Abaye am apostle davile Rasha. V'rachman am al toshis Rasha eid. You don't appoint the Rasha as an eid. V'rava am kosher. Rasha the chamas ba'inan. He's a Rasha of corruption in monetary manners, and this is not such a case. So the Gemara asks, next way, excuse me. Asks the Gemara, Meisvei, al toshes Rasha aid. You don't place a Rasha in aid. Al toshes chamas aid. Don't place one who is corrupt as an aid. Elu gazlonim, these are thieves. Umalvei ribias, and people that give loans with interest. So that seems to restrict it to monetary matters. Says the Gemara, tiyufta dabaya tiyufta. But don't get too married to this. But at this point, the Gemara says a double tiyufta of Abaye. So name a kitana. He says the Gemara.
We skipped a little bit. We skipped a little bit.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Elu gazlanim. You're right. Elu gazlanim umo'alin b'shvuos, and those that trespass on shvuos. Now, since it says shvuos in the plural, my lav echad shvuos shav, even if he's guilty of a vain oath. Now, a vain oath has no monetary thing. If he swears that the sun is the sun, so it's a vain oath. The echad shvuos mammon. So that would be a raya to Abaye, even if it doesn't have a monetary interest. My lav echad shvuos shav echad shvuos mammon. Right. Eid v'eidi shvuos mammon. So why does it say shvuos in the plural? Or my shvuos to alma, many shvuos. Meisvei, al toshes Rasha aid, al toshes chamas aid. Don't place if there's corruption. Elu gazlonim umalvei ribiyos. These are thieves and people that loan with interest. So you see, it's only by monetary matters. So tiyufta d'Abaye tiyufta, that would be a refutation of Abaye. However, says the Gemara, name a kitanoi. Let's say that this is dependent on the following machlokes tanoim, and it's really nice to see 30 zoomers here. Where's Marshall? Who would make it 31? Says the Gemara, you see how important it is for you to be here, Aaron. You made it an even 30.
Device, you know I'm here?
Oh, you're here. Okay, so it's 29 plus Barry, almost 30. 29.5.
Okay. Can I give you a name, please, for your nishmas, please?
Yeah, sure.
Miriam Ella Bas Yisrael Eliezer HaKohen. My wife's mother's yahrzeit is tonight, tomorrow.
Miriam Ella Bas Yisrael Eliezer HaKohen. She should have a lichtige Gan Eden and be a Melitzi Yeshara for her family, for all of us, and all of Klal Yisrael.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Oh, you know what else we're missing? Shelley Zeitlin is not here. Shelley isn't here. And A.B. Spry isn't here. Okay, anyway. Says the Gemara, name a kitanoi. Eid Zaymeim, and Eid Zaymeim is puzzle the Kala Torah Kula. An Eid Zaymeim, that means Jay, who was in the Bahamas, is disqualified for the whole Torah, Divrei Meir. Reb Yaisi says, that's only if he was proved to be a false for a capital case. So if he's Aval Huzam Bedinei Mamanis, but if he was proved false in a monetary case, we're not going to say that he'll lie even in a more serious case of nefashis. Kasher l'dinei nefashis. Nema, let us therefore say, Abaya Kurameir. Abaya that says that Al Toshes Rasha Aid is categorical. And he says Al Toshes Rasha Aid, any Rasha. So Abaya holds like Rameir, that even if he's a Aid Zaymeim in a lenient case, he's disqualified for everything. V'Rava K'Rab Yaisi. Abai K'Rab Meir, Damer Amrinon Mikula L'Chumra, that we say is disqualified even if he testified in a lenient situation, even for a stringent situation, because Abai says indiscriminately he's called a Rasha, and once he's called a Rasha, that's the end of the story. While Rava, Reb Yaisi, Rava holds like Reb Yaisi, and he restricts it, and therefore, if he's a Rasha for a lighter case, he's not going to be a Rasha for a more serious case. From that which is severe to that which light, we say, says in our life. Alibad Reb Yaisi, according to Reb Yaisi, who says that we don't go from lenient to stringent, that if he testified about money and he's proven to be false, we wouldn't disqualify him for a serious case. Kuli amaloi pligi. Ki pligi alib de Reb Meir. Reb Meir says that even if he says edus for a lenient case, he's puzzled for a severe case because he's a Russian. So leave it to Abai Reb Meir. V'Rav Amar Adkan like Amar Reb Meir Hasam El Gabi Eid Zaymeim, where he testified about money. So then he's bad to heaven and bad to people. El Gabi Eid Zaman the moment, the Ra'al Shemayim v'Ra'al Brias. Aval Hacha, in a case where, let's say he's a mumar lahachis, where he's eating frankfurters to get Hashem angry, so there he's only doing something to Hashem, he's not doing something to people. Aval Hacha, the Ra'al Shemayim v'Ein Ra'al Brias loy. Says the Gemara, and once again, Hilchasa Kavase Dabaya. The law is like Abaya. So the Gemara says, but we refuted Abaya before. So the Gemara says, yeah, but now that we said that everybody agrees that according to Rabbi Yossi, it's different, so then that's not a tiyufta. Hahi Rabbi Yossi, says the Gemara, but even so, v'ta'avi nami Rabbi Yossi, Rameir Rabbi Yossi, halacha Rabbi Yossi. Rameir and Rabbi Yossi, the law is like Rabbi Yossi. Says the Gemara, yeah, but over here there's a stam mishnah like Rameir. Shani Hossam, the stone one tona Reb Meir. There's a stam mishnah like Reb Meir, and remember Reb Meir says that Eid Zaymim is possible the Kol HaTorah Kula, which is a raya to a buyer, that once he's a Rasha, he's disqualified for everything. So now the Gemara is going to go on a search. Where is this stam mishnah according to Reb Meir? Remember, stam mishnah means that Rebbe said a mishnah without telling us the author, and that's a proof that Rebbe held that was the unanimous opinion. That was unannounced opinion is the halacha. So says the Gemara, the heicha stomlon tana. Where was there a stam mishnah? So now the Gemara is going to tell us a story.
Rabbi, it doesn't say, Hilchas HaKavasi Dabaya B'yal Kigam in the second one.
Right, so?
Interesting, no? I think usually it says it. Usually.
I don't know. Maybe because it just said it, that's why. So the Gemara says, Ve'echi stam lon tana. Where do we have a stam mishnah like Reb Meir? So the Gemara says over here, Ki had the Bar Chama. There was a situation where Bar Chama katal nafsha, where there was a report that Bar Chama killed someone. So Amar le Reish Gelusa l'Rav Abba Bar Yaakov. The Reish Gelusa said to Rav Abba Bar Yaakov, now this was after already there was no Sanhedrin, but the Reish Gelusa still had powers to wield punishments. So the Reish Gelusa said to Rav Abba Bar Yaakov, poke ayin ba, go and look into the matter. Vadai kotel, if he definitely killed someone, if you could establish it beyond a doubt, lichiyu le'enei. Now here there is a lot of different suggestions of what lichiyu le'enei means. Some say it means to blind him, because a summa is chashuv kemeis. So that's one pshat that they say. Another pshat that they say is to take away all of his money, right? By taking away all of his money, so a ani is chashuv kemeis, and others say it means to excommunicate him. So yeah.
Could it be possibly ayin tachas ayin is moment? Could that be why they use this expression?
Could be. Well, yeah. What Gedalia is suggesting is if it means money, it's because when the Torah says ayin tachas ayin, it refers to money. So that's why l'chiyu le'enei is used. Could be, the famous word that ayin tachas ayin. If you look at the letter that's under each of the letters is kesef. Right, so the letter under ayin is fei, the letter under yud is chaf, and the letter under nun is samach. So that spells kesef. Anyway, so asu trei sadeh asidu bei. So two witnesses came. It was again Ruvain. It was again Jay and Baruch. Devadai kotel that Bar Chama did it. However, Bar Chama was not taking this sitting down. Bechad Mahanach, So the Gemara says, Bar Chama brought a witness, with one of the witnesses, Chad Amar Kamoy Didi Gonav Kava de Chushla. In front of me, Jay stole a kav of barley. V'chad Amar, and one said, Kami Didi, in front of me, Gonav Kato de Burtia. He stole the handle of a spear. So now that means that that Jay was proven to be a crook in Dine Mominus. Now the question is, would that disqualify him for Dine Nefashis? Because the accusation over here is that Bar Chama killed someone. Amalei, so Rabbi Bar Yaakov said to Bar Chama, Ma date Reb Meir, that we paskin like Reb Meir, that an Eid Zoimim is puzzled for everything, but Reb Meir v'Reb Yaisi alach Reb Yaisi. V'Reb Yaisi ha'amar, who's in Medina Mamelis, if they're proven false in monetary matters, kosher l'dinei nefashis. Amalei Reb Papi, so Reb Papi said, Hani mili eichad l'loy sasam l'ntonik Rebbe Meir. Oh, now we're getting to our question. That's only if there isn't a stam mishnah like Reb Meir. Hacha sasam l'ntonik Reb Meir. Here we have a stam mishnah like Reb Meir. Now I told you we're on the search. Where do we have a stam mishnah like Reb Meir? So says the Gemara, what's the stam mishnah like Reb Meir? Mamai. Mamai is a strange word over here. It's usually not the phrase that's used. You know, more likely would be heicha. But anyway, mimai. Ilay mamahaditnan kolaroi ladoin dinei nefashis. Whoever is fit to judge in capital cases, roi ladoin dinei mamanais, is fit to judge in monetary cases. So mani. Ilay Reb Yaisi. If it's Reb Yaisi, it's not true. Reb Yaisi says, there's an eid zaymim in monetary manners. The kosher l'dinei nefashis, because it's more serious, he's kosher to dinei nefashis, or pasal l'dinei mamanis. Right? So it's not true that whoever is fit to judge in dinei nefashis is fit to judge in dinei mamanis, because according to Rabbi Yaisi, who says that from lenient to stringent we don't say, somebody who is untrustworthy in dinei mamanis is fit for dinei nefashis. So it's not true that it's equal across the board. Says Gemara, Ramehi. Says Gemara, well, maybe this is not talking about something else. Maybe this is talking about disqualifications of pedigree, like a mamzer. Mamai dilma bepsula yuchsin koi. Di'iloi tema hachi seifa diktani. Yesh roi ladoin dinei mamanas. Ve'ein roi ladoin dinei nefashis. There is one who is fit for dinei mamanas, but is not fit for dinei nefashis. Amai ain't a roi. Why would he not be roi? He did tazim dinei nefashis, that he was proven false even in a serious capital crime. Is such a person roi ladoin dinei mamanas? Everybody holds that if he's not credible in a serious case, he's surely not credible in a lenient case. And it's telling you that there are those that are fit to judge in dinei mamanas, like a mamzer, but are not fit to judge in dinei nefashis. says the Gemara, Ella b'psil yuchsin kai. Hachanami, the Reish is talking b'psil yuchsin kai. Whoever is fit for dinei nefashis is surely fit for dinei mamanis. Rather, the Stam Mishnah is like the following. Elahacha kosasam lantana. Here we have a Stam Mishnah like Reb Meir. Didnan elu ein apsulim. The following witnesses are apostle Amisachik Bekuvya, one who plays dice, milve beribis, who gives loans with ribis, umafricha yainim, pigeon racers, with seicherei shvias, merchants of shvias, va'avodim, and servants. Zaklal, kol edus she'eno isha ksherila, any testimony that a woman can't give, afhein en ksherila. Now, money. Ilaim a Reb Yaisi, if it was going like Reb Yaisi, but it's not true. According to Reb Yaisi, one who is disqualified from Dinei Mamanis can give testimony in Dinei Nefashis. V'ike edus b'Dinei Nefashis, she'ena isha ksherila, a woman can't give edus, but v'hein ksherila, but one who is disqualified from Mamanis can give testimony in Dinei Nefashis. Elalav, it must be a Stam Mishnah Rameiri, and therefore one of the witnesses against Bar Chama was exonerated, and therefore he wasn't punished. Bar Chama was so grateful Bar Chama was so grateful to Rapapi for exonerating him. Kam Bar Chama nashke akare, kissed him on his feet, v'kible lekarge dekule shnei, and accepted him upon himself to speak to the king about his skull tax for the whole year. And obviously this is not considered bribery, because the Chachamim are potter from the skull tax, as the Gemara says in Bava Basra. So he didn't give him anything. Now, new Mishnah, new subject.
I can ask a question.
Yeah.
Before it says that this Bar Chama, there was a rumor that he killed somebody. And the Gemara says, see if he really killed somebody. That's a very strange way to speak. See if he killed somebody.
I think the Gemara was over here highlighting that this isn't really due process, because there's no Sanhedrin anymore. In other words, it wasn't a Beis Din of 23. It's not due process. Now, it's interesting that Yitz puts up Daf 1836, which really highlights to us, Rabbi Isai, that we have less than 1,000 blot left to Shas. It is 2,711 blot in Shas. Less than 900. Less than 900 blot. And a guy like Adalia says, I just made a resolve. I'll never miss any of the 900 days now. That's it. No chance. Look at Reb Deer nodding his head. Okay.
How come wasn't considered one of the Chachamim?
He was.
That he would be resolved from his head tax?
Bar Chama, you mean?
No, I mean, it said
he would have been resolved, but not always did the king follow the rules.
Oh, okay.
Now, we said that a relative is disqualified from giving testimony or giving a judge. But now, what constitutes a relative? There are relatives and there are relatives, as Barry says. There are relatives and there are relatives. The following are the relatives: Achiv, a brother; V'achei aviv, a father's brother, an uncle; v'achei imay, a mother's brother, or bal achaisai, the husband of one's sister, which is a type of brother-in-law, but there's different types of brother-in-laws. Or bal achaisaviv, and the husband of his father's sister, which we also call an uncle. Or bal achais imay, and the husband of his mother's sister. Or bal imay, a stepfather. V'chamav, a father-in-law. V'gisai, a brother-in-law. Here, a brother-in-law is a wife's sister's husband. A wife's sister's husband is also called a brother-in-law. Hain, they, u'bneihem, their sons, v'chasneihen, and their son-in-laws. V'churgoi levadai, only a stepson, but not his son and not his son-in-law. Amar Rabbi Yaisi, this list, Zu Mishnah's Rabbi Akiva. This is the Mishnah of Rabbi Akiva. Aval Mishnah Rishaina reserved it strictly to relatives from the father's side. Aval Mishnah Rishaina, Daidai, his uncle, Uben Daidai, his nephew, Ben Daidai, his cousin, V'kol aroi liyarshay, and anyone that's fit to inherit him. In other words, that's only the Beis Avoisam. Mishpachaisam the Beis Avoisam. V'kol ha'karov lo ba'oisa shah, and it had to be still a relative at the time of the event that they're testifying about it. Ha'yakarov, if it was a relative originally, v'nisrachik, it was a relative through marriage, but there was a divorce before the event happened, so he's not a relative anymore, then harizek kosher, then he could give testimony. Rabbi Yehuda says, in the case of a son-in-law, even if the daughter dies, so technically he's not a son-in-law anymore, but if there are children, so he's the father of the grandchildren, Rabbi Yehuda afilu meisa bitai, v'yesh lo banim mimena, but there's children, harizek karav, that's still considered a son-in-law, and he's still a relative. Now, one who loves a person and one who hates a person, according to the Tanakama, cannot give testimony. Ohev v'asoneh. Ohev zeshesh binai. This is the person who celebrated with him his wedding, brought the gifts, which we said was a matter of legal reciprocity. And soine kol shaloi diber imay shloishi yomim be'eva. If he doesn't speak to him 3 days because of enmity. That's why it's such a terrible thing. If somebody walks past someone and doesn't give them shalom aleichem, that's an act of hate. It's a terrible thing. I'm talking about the person offers his hand and he walks by him. He spurns him. It's an act of hate. That's a terrible thing. Amalei, however, the next opinion in the Mishnah holds that lo nechshedu Yisrael al kach. Klal Yisrael is not suspected to testify falsely because of hate or because of love. So now the Gemara says, how do we know that a korev is disqualified from giving testimony? Where do we know this from? Minani Mili. By the way, Rabbi say, I'm just giving you an advance notice that we're going to try to, I know it's not the most popular thing, but we're going to try to put back the waiting room, because my wife uses this Zoom during the day for her therapy sessions, and sometimes when I'm on, when people see the shir go on, they come on, and they'll inadvertently step into a room where she's doing a private session with someone. So this way, if there's a waiting room, she just doesn't let the person in. Otherwise, the person could walk right in to a private therapy session. So we'll have to return to the waiting room.
How do we see that you're on? In other words, if I wanted to catch for the Shabbos table, how do I know that you're on?
I don't know.
I want to give that secret over now.
No. The truth is, some people just tune in early. They have time. They figure they'll tune in when they have a chance, and then they'll, they do it inadvertently,
So they leave it up. And then
Yeah. But my wife, because of privacy, can't have that.
Rabbi Weiss, I don't care, Michael, if it's okay. Okay.
What Barry thinks my wife has such easy cases. Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara. Minani mili. The Tana Rabbanan lo yumsu avos albonim. Fathers should not be put to death because of children. Matam loimer. Im lelamed shelo yumsu avos ba'avoin bonim. That fathers are not put to death because of the sins of their children. Ubonim ba'avoin avos, and children are not put to death for the sins of their fathers. That we know. Arikvar Nemer, it says in the pasuk, ish becheta yumsu. A person only dies because of his sins. He doesn't die. Ish becheta yumasu. He doesn't die because of other people's sins. Ella lo yumsu avos albonim. Fathers can't be put to death by their children. Be'edus bonim. Bonim lo yumsu alavos, and children are put to death by their fathers. Be'edus avos. So here we see that relatives can't give testimony one against the other. Says the Gemara, ubonim ba'avoin avos lai, and children for the sins of their father will not die. V'ksiv pokeid avoin avos albonim, that Hashem visits the sins of the fathers on the children. Says the Gemara, that's where the children continue in the sinful ways of the father. Hasam kisha'oichsin meisei avoseihem biyodeim, where they continue in the sinful ways of their father. Kedetanya, ba'af ba'avoines avoisam atem yimoku. And also with the sins of the fathers you will wither, and that means when they found the footsteps of the father, maybe even if they don't follow in the footsteps, a person dies in his own sin. The only time is if they follow in the ways of the father. And a man stumbles with his brother, and we learn out ish ba'avoin achiv, that a man is punished for the sins of his brother. Melamed shekulam arevim zelazeh, that everybody is responsible for one another. So you see, one could die for the sins of another. Says Gemara, yeah, but that's where he could have stopped it and he didn't stop it. Hasam biyadam shaya biyadam limchais v'lay michu, where you could have stopped it and you didn't stop it. This is the tremendous liability of not turning a blind eye. It says, a person, if he's yachal limchais, ve'enai meicha, nitfas ba'isa avon, he's held accountable for the sin. It happens to be a terrible thing that there is such a thing as a silent majority, and people see things and they don't say anything. It is a terrible thing. But although it's known that many people have said, I believe it's said in the name of Ksab Sofer, that the hardest mitzvah in the Kol HaTorah Kula is the mitzvah of Teichacha. because, you have to know how to give teichacha. You have to give it without any personal agenda. There can't be any person. It can't be that you don't like that guy in the back that schmoozes. It can't be with any personal agenda, because the pasuk says right afterwards, like sisu alav chait. But we do know from the story that we learned on Tisha B'Av of Kamsa Bar Kamsa, he said the Rabbanim were there and they didn't say anything, and that caused the destruction of the temple. It's a very serious thing, So we wouldn't want Aaron to think that he could just not come on the shir and everybody would remain silent. We wouldn't want Aaron to think that way. Everybody is up in arms. How could Aaron not be here? I mean, everybody is up. Aaron, we're hoping you feel better and feel strong enough to come at least sometimes to the shir. Aaron never misses the shir. He always listens to it. But it's, I told you, I have a Meiser Rav from Rav Moshe. When I went to the yeshiva in Staten Island, the first few years, I didn't know a word of Yiddish. Even though people like Ruvain Pollack and probably Irving Fishbaum can testify. Remember when the rabbi came to the shul and said a shir in Yiddish, and then I translated it in English afterwards?
I remember that.
Yeah, and you should know, I used to always have tremendous worry in my stomach that I won't understand what he said and I won't be able to translate it. But I did every year he came, and I think he came 10 years. Every year he came, after he said it, I did translate it into English. But anyway, I didn't speak a word of Yiddish. So Rav Moshe gave a shir in Yiddish, so I'm going to go to the shir. So I didn't go to the shir. I recorded it, and he gave papers for the shir. So I read the papers, and then I listened over and over and over again to the tape. So Rav Moshe asked me why I wasn't by the shir. So I told him what I'm doing, and he smiled. Good. But he said, come to the shir anyway. I should come to the shir, even though I don't understand it. He says, your eyes should see your Rebbe. That's what he told me. Now, Aaron will say he's looking at a video, but it's not the same, Aaron. You could see my handsome face now. It's not the same.
And he gave a difficult shir?
Huh?
She gave a difficult shir?
It's very easy. You could go to it, the shir now. Just open up a Dibris Moshe. That was the shir.
I'm saying, but it was like, some rabbis or yeshiva, they give a shir, it's very, very difficult.
The shir was the Dibris Moshe. It was impossible. The Anaf Aleph was like 15, 20 questions on the sugya. There were questions ranging from questions on the Gemara, on Taisus, from different Masechtas, from Rambams. Anaf Beis was the Chakira. 2 or 3 different ways, sometimes 4 ways to learn the side of the sugya. Then Anaf Gimel, Anaf Dalet, Anaf Hey was answering all the questions using the different ways of learning. So it was.
So only for the scholar?
The only way we could understand the shir is we got the papers of the shir in the morning, and we learned through the shir in the morning. And that's the only way. When we listened to it, we were able to understand it. Then second Seder, we reviewed it. And then night Seder, we had a Chazaras HaShir. Like, the big man on campus gave a Chazaras HaShir.
Were you allowed to interject to Rav Moshe in the shir? Were you allowed to ask questions?
Yeah, there were people that asked questions. And if it was a really good question, then the next week, he handed me, besides the 12 pages of the shir, he handed me 2 pages where he wrote the one who asked the question and an answer to the question. So that was, I was never Zeichel Lekach. But there were people like Moshe Friedman and Avram Ort big, these were the big men on campus. So usually a share went for 2 weeks. If it was a really big share, it went for 3 weeks, like Me'ikra Kamatfis. The share on Palginon Dibura was 72 pages. 72 pages.
Yeah, I'm still in the basement just going over that.
Yeah, you weren't born yet. We want to thank everybody for joining us. I did the Mishnah Yomis already earlier today. It's already up. We'll see everybody hopefully tomorrow night.